Hello folks, so we are here today with Marcus Abraham, who is a holistic therapist. He does EFT, which is emotional freedom technique. He also does Reiki, NLP and hypnosis, and he's also a social worker. So what's going to happen today is that we're going to have a chat with Marcus about his kind of mental health journey and his professional journey to becoming a holistic therapist. And then we're going to do a live demonstration of EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. Take some questions and just get a bit of feedback on how that was for people. And any questions beyond that, we'll see how we go. So thank you for being here, Marcus. Thank you for offering your services.
You're welcome. Thank you for everything you're doing with the group. When I initially saw it, I thought, this is a great thing, especially at this time where everyone's a bit, feeling uncertain, and stressed and anxious. So I thought, well, I've got some skills here, but I can also listen to other people who he's interviewing and learn some stuff myself. So that's why, I offered, and I'm really glad you accepted as well. So yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I think there's, we've all got skills, we've all got experience and stuff to share. Sometimes it might not be a professional skill, it might just be a story, like the lady we had on yesterday. Found that a really inspiring story, and hopefully it can connect and help people with their own recovery from whatever they're going through. And yeah, you've got a lot of stuff to offer here. So we're going to focus on EFT today, and if we've got time, we'll talk about some of the other stuff you do as well. So do you want to just give us a brief explanation of what EFT is and how we're going to work the demonstration today, Marcus?
Yeah, so EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. And it's basically, if you think of acupuncture, Emotional Freedom Technique is acupuncture without needles. So within acupuncture, you have certain acupressure points all over the face and body. And what happens is, holistically, coming from a background of Chinese medicine, we have these pathways that run through the body, almost like the human blood vein system. But what runs through that is our energy, or life force energy. And it connects through every single organ, bone, tissue, muscle throughout the body. And when that energy, that life force energy, is clogged, or it's not working as well as it could due to lifestyle, things we've been through in our past, traumas, it doesn't work as well. So from the acupuncture perspective, the Chinese medicine, they will stick the needles in at certain points to get that energy flowing, and it will help physically, emotionally, or mentally. So with Emotional Freedom Technique, it was developed in the 1970s. And what happens is, through tapping on the same points on the face and body, there's about 10 or 15 points that we use, we can clear the emotional energy that's connected to any previous issues in the past, or belief that we might have about something we want to do in the future. So through tapping on them points, we can clear it, and it just helps us, to move forward as a tool.
Excellent. So 10 to 15 kind of key points.
Yeah. So it starts from the eyebrow. So beginning of the eyebrow, bridge of the nose, and you can either come down the right side of your face or your left side of your face. And when we get into the actual demonstration, I will go through kind of all that before we actually start, so we're all kind of in sync. And through tapping on these points, it kind of sends what they call, it's like electrical impulse through the meridian point, through the system. And if we're through saying certain phrases connected with whatever issue we've got, whether it be physical, emotional, mental, or some belief from the past or the future that's stopping us from doing something, through connecting with the issue and tapping, it helps to release the energy around it, which then helps us to move forward. So it's a very powerful process, and it's not like, because sometimes, and even myself at an earlier stage of doing EFT, it was like, I'm just trying to get rid of this feeling or this problem, and tapping like hell to get rid of it. And while we can have that attitude, and it will help, for me, as I've grown and evolved with it, for me it's almost like a tool that I can use to not be so identified with whatever emotional state I'm feeling, or whatever problem or issue I've got, whether it be from the past or something I want to do in the future. And then using EFT just to help to relax my attitude around it, or to clear it in a way where it's not about I have to get rid of this, but it's just helping me to let go, so then I can move forward.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a bodily element to it and also a mental element to it, and those phrases that you repeat whilst you're doing the tapping, it reminds me of like a mantra that you might do if you're meditating. Certain types of meditation involve a mantra, don't they? And repeating, and maybe that's doing something with the neural pathways in the brain. Is that how it works?
Yeah, there is research out there. In America, they've done a lot of research on EFT, and gone into kind of what works on an energetic level in the body and within the cells and throughout the whole system. So yeah, it is very powerful. Through just something as simple as just tapping on your face and body, we can actually affect on a physical level, emotional level, and a mental level, because it's all one system. It's not separate. However, the medical profession or general society would think that we're all separate. So the physical body is separate from your emotions, from your mind, even from the spiritual side. Whatever you believe, for me, it doesn't matter. It's just an element of our human experience. It's all together, and through whichever area you want to focus on, you can tap, and it will help relieve something in that area.
Okay.
Going back to what you said about the neurons in the brain, I would say that, because depending on, let's say, if you have a certain kind of attitude or a belief about something in the past, and the neurons, if you think of it as like a tree, and all the branches are connected in a certain way, so they would be connected in a certain way, which might be the signature within the brain for anxiety or depression. And then through tapping and doing the processes, that process could change, therefore moving the different branches in a different way, where that would now be a state of calm or relaxation. But because we know the brain, through things that happened in the past and through repetition, things can get kind of deeply embedded. But there is what's known now as neuroplasticity, where the brain can change, and it, through different processes, whether it be, meditation, EFT, there's millions of different therapies out there, which all basically are trying to get us into some state of relaxation, so then the brain can kind of rewire itself into a new state. So yeah, I would definitely agree. It does work on that level.
So it's a case of what we practice grows stronger. And if we're practicing saying all those negative things to ourselves, or like you say, depression or anxiety, that becomes the branch, and the branch gets thicker and thicker. But if we can start to reprogram that, we can perhaps choose a different branch and go a different way, which is more healthy, more helpful for us.
Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect analogy. There's a guy called Joe Dispenza who's massive in neurology, and he says that neurons that fire together wire together. So if that's the depression neurons, the more we give attention to our negative feelings, thoughts, behaviours, and stuff that's going on, the more that will grow and get stronger and stronger. There's also that other term: whatever you give your attention to will grow bigger. So ultimately, we do have power to change whatever state's going on by what we give attention to, and it's just becoming more conscious of that habit, because our attention, in daily life, it goes all over the place, with different things we've got to do. And within that, if we've got emotional issues or stuff going on, which we all have from time to time, it's easy to fall back into those familiar kind of unconscious behaviours, usually negative. And through bringing that awareness, whether it's through meditation, whether it be through tapping or any other practice, the yoga, it helps us to release that, and then we can focus our energy in a new place, because there's a bit more space or awareness to do that, where we're not getting caught into it as much.
Great. Yeah, that's a really good explanation. Thanks, Marcus. So what we're going to do today is hopefully get a volunteer from amongst us who's happy to do you want to share how it will work with the volunteer, Marcus?
Yeah, so with the volunteer, anybody who wants to go through a kind of a mini session of EFT, let's call it, I'll ask them whatever's going on for them at the moment, and if they've got something that they would like to work on, something that's not, we use a scaling process in EFT, which is called the subjective units of distress. So scale from 0 to 10, so whatever the issue is, let's say it's, anxiety because I can't go out and do what I want, for example, and I might be on a 5 or a 6, I could work with that, and whatever the thoughts around it, whatever the feelings they've got presently within the mind and body, we can tap around that, and through giving the belief and the thought and the feeling, the number from 0 to 10 at the start, and then I use the words from the person, what their actual thought is about whatever the issue is, and then we tap on it while saying the phrase. So we can all do that a little bit together. And through tapping, after we go through a round of EFT, and we see where the person is then. So it might have come down from a 6 to a 3. It might have even only come down 1. And with EFT, because it's an exploration, it's not like it has to come down, because it's not. It's because you're working with the whole human being. You know, you could be working on one part of it and it doesn't move because there's other aspects of it that need to move. That's the reason why I'm saying, you know, for this demonstration, I only work on something quite lightly, but what will give people an experience EFT mentally and emotionally. So they've got kind of a pattern then to go back to using the resources that you've posted in the group. Alongside that, so I'll be working with one person, the other three people, can also join in. And what I will ask everyone else to do is just think of an issue in their life that is bothering them and give that a number between 0 to 10. So let's say it's a 6 or 7, and for that it can be anything. And then you just put that on the shelf and leave it there. And then we'll all do the tapping together for the person I'm working with. And then afterwards, you can see how the person's gone, who I'm working with. And I can also ask the rest of you how you're doing. And when you think about the issue that you put on the shelf, how you feel about that now. And usually that will change as well. Even though I'm not working with everybody directly, only the one person. In EFT, it's called borrowing benefits. So because we're all similar beings, we all have similar issues, similar things going on. So just through working with one person on their stuff, subconsciously it works on everyone else's who's taking part, because we're all tapping and saying, you know, the same phrases. So it's a really powerful way of working, not just with one person, but with a group.
Right. Everyone's a winner.
Everyone's a winner, yeah. It's a good phrase, that.
Yes. Great stuff. And welcome, Sean. Can you hear us okay?
Yes. Thank you, Paul. Eventually got through.
Yes. Apology, that's my fault. I didn't put the password onto the
no problem.
So sorry for that. Okay. So one more question, Marcus, before we talk a little bit about your personal history. With things like mindfulness, yoga, other holistic therapies, my understanding is the more you do it, the stronger the effect becomes. Is that the same with EFT, or is it a kind of one shot can really clear whatever the issue was?
Yeah, I would say it's because it's more of it like, other than, how would I put it? Yeah, it can do. It depends on the skill of the practitioner and what they're working with. You know, some practitioners will promote out there, yeah, they can change something in one session and you're sorted. Well, you know, I don't kind of buy into that, because we're so complex as human beings and there's so much going on for us. You know, so I can do EFT on someone for 10 minutes and they've got a headache and the headache's gone. And it's like, right, fantastic. Do EFT on, you know, an issue that started from when they were 5-year-old, and now that, you know, they're struggling to go and look for a job, or they've got, you know, anxiety or social anxiety or depression, and the root of it is a lot deeper. There's a lot of different aspects to the issue, so it might take 3, 4, 5, 10 sessions to get to the root cause, depending on how resistant the person is. So it's definitely, as you said, you know, the more you practice something, and if you think about it from when we was born to wherever we are now, we've got all kinds of stuff going on within us, and subconsciously and consciously from all the experiences. So it depends what we want to work on. You know, we can work with EFT. It's just like, it's almost infinite in the different ways, because someone might come and say, oh, well, you know what, I want to start a new business. And they've not got really any issues, but as soon as they start thinking about it and the steps they need to take, the fear comes up, the anxiety comes up, with all the thoughts, that which almost like, you know, what we might call excuses that will stop us from doing it, all come up. But they weren't there until they decided they wanted to do something. Then with EFT, you could work on that. It's really infinite in application, really. But yeah, like you said, the more someone practices it in their life, I think, just from a mental and emotional perspective, just to have that sense of well-being, because we all have ups and downs that happen on, you know, a daily basis, week to week. Once you learn the skill, you know, you might have had an argument with your boss at work or a family member, and you get home, you could go in your room, follow the basic process and just start tapping on it and clear it in that moment. So for me, it's more of a skill that we can use, you know, on a week-by-week basis. And if we have deep issues that we want to work with, yeah, you would need to see a practitioner to do that once that stuff's cleared. Or, you know, if you learn and become more advanced, even the advanced practitioners like myself still go to other practitioners, because as you probably know yourself from your own mental health training, that when it's your own issue and you're kind of in it, it's a bit harder to deal with it. But when there's someone who's more objective, not involved in our stuff, they can help us to see what we need to see. So even, you know, however advanced you come, you know, we don't know it all. There's always someone else has got another perspective. So, but for the daily stuff that we can work on, yeah, you know, we can do that ourselves. And like you said, the more we do it, you know, the better we become, the freer we become, you know, the calmer.
Great, that's lovely, thank you. Yeah, and I like the analogy there with psychotherapy and other mental health trainings. It is counselling as well. You know, if there's someone else there, just to ask a question, plant a seed, reflect something back to you, validate what's going on, that can give you a different perspective. So yeah, interesting stuff. And you mentioned a little earlier about the resources, which you've kindly passed across to me, and I've put in the resources section of the Thrive Hive. So after this demonstration, folks can have a look at those and try practicing on themselves and pass it on to their family members as well. So again, everyone's a winner.
Yeah, definitely.
Good stuff. Okay, so it's, Sean, as you came in late, I just need to say that we are recording this session, if that's okay with you, so that I can post it on the Thrive Hive later on.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, so does anyone have any questions for Marcus before we get into a bit of history at all? Okie doke. So what I'll do for now, I'm just going to mute everybody else and continue, and then unmute Marcus. So Marcus, if you just want to share some of your background, professional, personal, emotional, mental health, whatever has brought you to becoming a holistic therapist, that would be useful, I think, for people to get a bit of background on you and your personal journey.
Yeah, okay. Where to start? So for me, it started when I was a teenager, and you know, I looked after, you know, my mum, who had MS and kidney failure. So, and living with a you know, a family member, stepdad, who wasn't very nice growing up. So going out as a teenager, you know, into the world, having fun, enjoying myself. You know, I did party a little bit too much in my early teens, and let's say experimented with substances that didn't really help with all the stuff that was going on, just growing up with my mum in ill health. However, I wasn't aware of that, you know, as a youngster, but as I got a bit older, and when I decided to stop taking the kind of recreational drugs and having all the fun, because I don't know if you've had any of these experiences yourself, but when you have a little bit too much fun with some of these substances, and there's a point where it starts to become negative, and you can start to become paranoid or having kind of negative experiences. Mentally, emotionally. So when I was like 16, 17, I decided, right, that's enough, I need to stop this. But then and I was still okay, I wasn't, you know, depressed or anything, but within about 3 months before my 17th birthday, I stopped sleeping and I started to feel depressed. And you know, the doctors were like, oh, it's because you've stopped smoking cannabis and you've stopped partying, that's why. And from now, my perspective, you know, looking back after all the work I've done, I can see that there was probably a lot of unconscious stuff that started to bubble up after I stopped doing those things. And then that's when my journey started, really. With hypnotherapy, I went to a hypnotherapist and I tried that, and that was quite successful and it helped. But as you know, when we have you know, certain, let's say, deeply embedded patterns within us, it's sometimes hard to let go. And even though I'd let go of stuff, I'd go back out with the same group of friends, and then before I know it, I'd be doing the same things again. And I kind of went through that cycle a few times, from, you know, 17 to about 21, till well, when I was 18, I'd found Reiki just randomly through looking in the yellow pages. Each year I would go in to look for another therapist or a coach to see, right, I need to get out of this kind of state, I need some support. And I seen it was called a Reiki school. This was in Altrincham. It said natural healing. I thought, well, I wonder what that is, I wouldn't mind some of that. And at the time, I couldn't afford to actually learn it, but the guy there did pass me over to someone who practiced it, and I did have a treatment, and I had this amazing, powerful experience from that Reiki treatment that lasted quite a few months, almost like what people would call now as a kind of a spontaneous awakening experience. And while at the time it was very good, and I was 18 and I was in this wonderful energy, at the same time, I was still very ungrounded as a young man with, you know, issues, really. So it kind of just played out in a bit of a mad way over those months. And then that led to me going back to, because I knew there was something in the Reiki that would help. So then I went back to the lady who'd done it, and she said, you know, I can support you, but you need to learn it yourself. So that's when my journey started, and I started learning, practicing Reiki. And, you know, from 18 up to 24, I had about 4 or 5 different teachers till I found a really good teacher who could really teach me what I needed to, you know, to learn, to move forward and work on those deeper aspects of my psyche and my personality that I needed to face, which I wasn't doing before because I didn't have the right support. Through that journey, then it led to, you know, once you start on this kind of spiritual or, let's say, healing journey, holistic, and you're being open to things, things open up. I went on an NLP course, and initially I went on this course because I only wanted to understand myself more. You know, how did I think? How was I creating my own suffering? And through reading books on NLP, I thought, right, this would be something that would just give me a new perspective and a new way to kind of operate my own brain. And it worked, and other doors opened, and I ended up learning NLP, I ended up learning hypnotherapy, and then as time's gone on, I learned EFT as well. So as I was using these tools initially just for myself, you know, to help me move forward and keep me kind of, let's say, to be honest, to keep me sane and calm. And that's without being on any medication, because for quite a few years, from 17 to like 23, I was on antidepressants, and they would work for 6 months, and then as soon as I would stop them, they would stop working. And then, you know, within a certain amount of time, I would end up depressed again. And it was like I wasn't dealing with whatever I needed to deal with. And at one time I was speaking with the counsellor, and he says, well, you know, what would you be like if you weren't taking the medication? You know, would you be running down the street or down the motorway doing crazy things? And I said, well, no, probably not. I'd just be depressed. And I never tried not taking them to actually just deal with what was there. And it weren't that he was telling me to stop. He was just giving me an idea. And from that, I did choose to stop taking them, and I wasn't in a good state. And what I decided to do was to work with where I was from then. And it did change, and it did move forward. And, within 6 months, a year, I was, well again. And that was probably the first time in my life without taking any recreational drugs from when I was a youth, or any prescription drugs, to kind of help that stuff. I was kind of in a more balanced state. And then my journey continued then, just using the tools, studying Jungian psychology, different aspects of what we call esoteric spirituality. And it helped me to kind of stay more conscious of, who I am. And then the journey just became, for me, about personal development and, wanting to grow emotionally, physically, and learn more. And then in that, as you probably know yourself, you end up attracting people that need your help because it's worked for you. And, there's almost that inner desire that if you know that it can help someone else, you want to do it, you want to offer it to someone. And, in my early 20s, mid-20s, I had a lot of friends who were like, Marcus, you're just weird, you're too deep, we'll carry on smoking weed, you do your Reiki, it's fine. And, I was still good friends with them for a long time, and I didn't do the stuff they did, but I still showed up and had a laugh. But even as time went on, that process changed as well, because you probably know that, from a vibrational point of view, emotionally, if you're not kind of in the same vibration as people, which basically just means doing the same things, there's going to be a point where there's going to be such a big gap that you can't relate the same way anymore. So it just kind of changed. And while I still do have some of those friends, and some of them are good friends, I don't spend as much time with them. And a lot of us are grown up now. So, when I do see them, I do have a laugh. But, I am different than I was. And for me, it's, in the last 10 years, it's just been about learning what I can and passing it on to others, because, I really have a passion. My biggest passion is Reiki, but then the EFT and the hypnosis and NLP, they're the kind of the tools that I can use with, let's say, and the Reiki with our kind of human self to help us move forward and kind of clear some of that conditioned crap that we all have. But yeah, so that's kind of my journey up to where I am now. And, while I have gone through a lot and I've come out of the other side, I'm not perfect, and I still have, my up and down days and dark days, but I have those tools. And because I'm more aware than I used to be, it's like, well, I'm responsible for how I'm feeling here. Well, and some, people on the outside might say something, or they could trigger something, but then I'm responsible for how I respond to that, or how I think myself. And yeah, I still do have some negative thinking patterns. You know, I'm not perfect, but I do use the tools I've got, which then help me to keep moving forward. And I don't, well, years ago, something could happen, I'd stay stuck and I could be stuck for months. But now it might be, you know, half a day, a couple of days, and then I can move forward. And, you know, my passion now is about helping other people to do that. You know, if they're open to it and they want to shift and move forward, I can offer these tools to help them move forward. And going into what I'm doing now in terms of social work, when I after my mum passed away in 2014, from the you know, the ill health that she'd had all her life really, I decided to go back into education in the September. She died in the May 14, and I went into education in September, because when I was in school, 15, 16, I was quite intelligent and I was good at learning, but I weren't interested. I was more interested in going, you know, smoking stuff down the field, or not going in school and messing around. And I didn't get good GCSEs. So at this time, after my mum had passed away in September, I thought, I need a new challenge. I need something to do. So then I went back to school, did my GCSEs, just thought, you know, if I'll do it, if I pass, I pass. And because of all the stuff I'd learned with hypnosis, NLP, I thought, I am intelligent enough, I can do it. And it was a challenge, I won't lie. You know, trying to, if you think of it as I was trying to take that 15, 16-year-old to college, night school, every week to do this maths and English. And, you know, it was challenging. Part of me was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And sometimes even coming to like tears where, you know, on the Tuesday and Thursday, one night I did maths, one night I did English. And part of me was like, why do I have to do this? Why should I do this? Why did I sign up to it? And what had happened was, when I was in the more depressed days, I would sign up to things, last about 3 weeks and quit, find some excuse. But through doing the work, I got to a point where if I sign up for something, I'm going to complete it. You know, I'm going to find a way to complete it. So after I'd signed up to doing the GCSE maths and English, it was like, oh, what have you done? And then I dragged myself there, passed that, and then I went on to the Access course, and that was difficult as well. Again, it was, the Access course was actually more difficult than doing the degree. So anyway, that's the educational journey. So it's almost like I had to go back and revisit the school and do that. So that's done now. And yeah, I am a social worker, and I do enjoy it. There is a lot of bureaucracy, I would say, and it's not as easy as I would have thought it would be. But my passion is, you know, it is like Reiki, supporting people, you know, emotional freedom technique. And I do use these tools within my job. But as time goes on, you know, there is going to be a point where I am going to want to offer this in a bigger way again to, you know, to the public again. So I'm just, you know, where you get those kind of universal synchronicities, you've got to go through certain journeys for whatever reason. And then, you know, there's a bit of an unknown. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know how long social work's going to last, but I know I'm being taken on this journey. It's going to go where it needs to, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that kind of brings us up to where we are now.
Great, that's a really interesting and inspiring story. Thank you, Marcus, for sharing that. So it seems like the stuff that happened in your childhood and the adolescent use of recreational drugs was the kind of trigger for the mental health issues, the emotional issues that you had, and then you went on to prescription medication, and that kind of kept you on a level but didn't address the underlying issues. And then you had this kind of awareness and acknowledgement of that, worked through those issues. And whilst you were doing that, it sounds like you kind of came into these holistic healing therapies, and that's become your passion. And it's like you've healed yourself, and now using those tools, you're healing others. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of a fair summary of it. Yeah. You know, we use the tools for ourselves, you know, to get to where we need and then pass them on.
Lovely. It's a beautiful story, that. And yeah, so many of the people I'm talking to here are what I would say are wounded healers. So having gone through challenges themselves, they've worked through their own, don't really like the word issues, but, you know, difficulties, challenges. And because you've been there, you know that you've got these tools that you can use to help yourself, and then the passion comes to help others from that. So it's lovely. Wonderful. Okay, so is there anything else that you want to say before we get started on the EFT demo?
No, I can't think of it, unless anybody's got any questions.
Yeah, so it's a good opportunity for anyone to ask Marcus a question about his personal journey or about any of the therapies before we go into the demo. No? All good. Okie doke. So we just need a volunteer, don't we, Marcus?
We do, yeah. If we've got a volunteer that would like to do some EFT.
So it can be a physical pain or an emotional issue or just something that anyone's struggling with in their life at the moment. Preferably not anything too traumatic.
Yeah, that's what I would say. You know, it could be, you know, something that's going on at the moment, obviously with the lockdown and all that, everyone's a bit, you know, uncertain, a bit anxious, a bit stressed. You know, it could be certain beliefs or thoughts around that. For example, you know, I can't go see my family, or I can't go out, or, you know, I have to go shopping and I have to queue and it's a nightmare, or I can't see my, you know, my nephews, my nieces. There could be many different things that we could work on. Or even a physical issue, if there's any physical pain anywhere in the body. Physical pain is always a really good one to work with the demonstration. So that would be really good. I'll leave it to, you know, anybody really, if they've got something they want to work on, I'll leave it to them.
Yeah, so any volunteers?
Looks like it might have to be you, Paul.
It's me, by default. Okay, well, I've got something lined up already because I thought this might happen. So yeah, shall I explain what it is?
Yeah, if you would do, yeah, it'd be great.
Okay, I don't have any physical pain, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I've noticed is a kind of repeating cycle with myself of overeating. So I will go through periods, I generally eat very healthily and moderate amounts, I would say. And then I will slip into this cycle of eating too much, do that for a while, and then pull myself out of it and say, actually, no, come on, eat healthy, eat the right amount of food. So yeah, just over the past few days, I've been basically having a supper every day, and I clearly don't need to. So it's not a massive issue, but I'm aware that there is clearly some emotional aspect to it. It's emotional. It's like a comfort eating thing, I think. Is that information, or do you need some more?
Yeah, I'm just writing a couple of things down. So my question would be, you know, when this is happening, you know, how do you know you have this problem with like comfort eating in this cycle that happens now, you know, every now and again? You know, from your internal experience, how do you know you have it? You know, what are you thinking? What are you feeling in that moment?
Good question. So I suppose what I'm doing is, I enjoy food all the time. I love food. But when I'm in this kind of phase of overeating or comfort eating, it's, I suppose I feel like there's something missing, whether it's a connection, an emotional thing, something lacking.
Okay.
And I think it's just, I'm going to have some food, even though I'm not hungry.
Yeah, okay, that's perfect. And that's the exact thing that I was, that's why, yeah, kind of, with EFT, it's a bit of a question and answering thing. So once I've got a little bit more information about what we're going to work on, I'm going to jump to everyone else just to kind of include them in what we're doing and give them a bit of a process that they're going to kind of join in with us as a tap with you. So I'll do that now, actually, and then I'll come back to you if that's all right. So Jackie, Angela and Alex, if you would like to just think of a issue in your life or a problem or something that you would like to work on. It can be anything, and you don't need to tell us, but just think of it and think about what that is. And also yourself, Paul, with your issue, what I'm going to ask, if you scale it. So if you all scale it from 0 to 10, whatever it is you want to work on. So 0 means it's gone, 10 it's the most extreme it could be at that moment that it actually bothers you. So just, or even so think of it as, when you think about this issue, when you think about this problem, what number would you give it between 0 and 10? And for everyone else, and yourself, Paul, once you give it a number, the people who I'm not working with directly, just put that kind of issue, give it a number. If it's a 2, a 5, a 10, 7, give it a number, put it on the shelf, and then we'll just leave it on the shelf for now, and we'll come back to that in a bit. So coming back to you, Paul. When you're saying that you enjoy food, you love food, and at the moment that it happens, it feels like something missing. So on a SUD scale, when you feel that sense, that sensation, it feels like something's missing or lacking, where do you feel that in your body? And if tune into it now.
I'd say it's solar plexus area.
Solar plexus area, okay. And is that on the surface or is it deep inside?
It's not deep, but it's not on the surface. It's kind of part way in.
Part way in, okay, perfect. And what number would you give this sensation, this feeling of something missing, sensation of lack that's in the solar plexus, just part way in? What number would you give that now? If you tune into that now, as you have, what number would you give that?
I'd say it's lower than it has been in the past. So
right.
This current phase, I'd say it's around about 3.5.
Okay, right. So it's quite low. It's not like on a massive scale. However, we can see what we can do to connect with that and see if we can release that sensation of feeling. But before we get fully to the feeling, I'm just going to go through the tapping points for all of us, so we can all kind of join in together, and then we'll go straight into that. Is that all right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, cool. So if you're right-handed, left-handed, it doesn't matter. You're going to tap on this part of your hand, which is the karate chop point. Because I'm right-handed, I'll be tapping with my right hand on the karate chop point here. This is where we start. This is the first point. So if we all just start tapping on this point, just so we all know where we are. Paul, are you joining in?
Yep.
Oh, I couldn't see your hand, sorry. Not that you have to hold your hands up, but it was just because where the camera is, but that's perfect. So this is the karate chop point. So I'll go through where the points are first, and then we're all going to join in together, and I'll let you know what you need to do. So karate chop point, and then from there, you're going to go into the beginning of the eyebrow, bridge of the nose, on the right-hand side of your face if you're right-handed, on the left side if you're left-handed and you're going the other way. So you're going to tap the beginning of the eyebrow, bridge of the nose into there. That's it. And then from there, you're going to go to the side of the eye on the bony bit at the front. Yeah, that's perfect. Everyone's doing it great. And then from there, you're going to go under the eye on the fleshy bit in line with your pupil. Perfect. And then from there, you're going to go just under the nose above the top lip. Perfect. And then from there, you're going to go into the crease of the chin. Perfect. And then from there, if you just come down here and you feel this kind of V-shaped bone, on either side you've got like where the collarbone meets is a bit of a ball a bit. So you don't need to keep tapping that one for now. So if you just feel that and then go to the left side, if you're coming down the right side, feel the ball and you can tap there. Just on the ball or just under it, and you can either do it with your fingers or you can do it with your fist. You definitely get it. And if you're left-handed, if you come the other way, you tap on the other side and you do it that way. Because the same points are on both sides of the face and body. And then from there, we're going to go underneath the arm about 4 inches down and then just gently tap there. And then take a deep breath in. Okay, and we're just going to do that one more time. So tapping the karate chop point, just so everyone knows where the points are. And then from there, you're going to go into the beginning of the eyebrow, bridge of the nose. Perfect. And then from there, side of the eye on the bony bit at the front. Perfect. And then from there, underneath the eye and the fleshy bit. Perfect. And then from there, just above the top lip. Under the nose. Perfect. And then from there, in the crease of the chin. Perfect. And then from there, down to the end of the collarbone. Like say you can do it with your fingers or you can do it with your wrist, fist. We definitely get the point. And then from there, underneath the arm, just gently tap in about 4 inches down side of your body. And then take a deep breath in. Fantastic. So they're the tapping points. So Paul, now we're going to come back to you, and if everyone else is joining in, the way it works is that as I'm working with Paul and I'm talking to him, I'll say a certain phrase. When I finish that phrase, then you'll repeat it. So we're working on Paul's challenge at the minute with food. We're working on that challenge with Paul. So it'll be directed, the information will be directed to him, but we're all going to say, we can all say, I was going to say, yeah, it might be interesting this actually. Because if everyone's, Paul, can you turn everyone's mics off, but they can still hear?
Yeah. Mute. Yeah.
Perfect. It's just because we'll all be saying it at the same time. As long as they can still hear, they can still do it. So I'll say a certain phrase. When I finish saying the phrase, then Paul will say it, and everyone else will as well, because we're all going to do it together. Only say the phrase when I've stopped, otherwise we'll be saying it at the same time, and it just gets a little bit mad. But we'll start and we'll just go into it. So Paul, if you'd like to start tapping, everyone else, if you'd like to start tapping. So Paul, when you think about this challenge that you've got with food at the minute, and this kind of cycle that you go through, this repeating cycle of overeating, and you have said that you can pull yourself out of it because you have got those tools. So, but sometimes it does happen, and it does kind of grip you a little bit, and it's those moments where you feel like a sense of lack or something missing. So when you just think of this challenge now, when you think of this, just what thoughts are coming up into your mind just when you think about it?
I want comfort.
Right, okay. So that's what we're going to start tapping on that. So I'll say a phrase and you repeat after me. Even though I want comfort.
I want comfort.
And I do.
And I do.
I do want comfort.
I do want comfort.
And I do want comfort.
I do want comfort.
I completely
and
totally
love
and accept myself.
Love and accept myself.
Anyway.
When
I think about this challenge.
And
this repeating cycle.
This repeating cycle
of overeating. I just think I want comfort.
I want comfort.
Yeah, and that's what I think.
And that's what I think.
I just want comfort. And I completely and totally accept how I feel. And I want to accept me. Anyway. And I'm open to that.
And I am open to that.
And I am. I'd like to be. So even though when I think about this challenge, this recycle pattern of overeating,
this cycle pattern of overeating, I just want comfort. Yeah, and that's what I think. And that is what I think.
I just want comfort.
I
love food.
I
enjoy food. And I do. I completely and totally love and accept myself. Anyway. Okay, eyebrow point. I just want comfort. Eye to the eye. I just want comfort. Under the eye. I just want comfort. Under the nose. I just want comfort. Under the chin. I just want comfort. Collarbone. I just want comfort. Under the arm. I just want comfort. And take a deep breath in. Okay, so that's one round of EFT that we've done just on the word and some of the initial words you said before around the challenge, around this kind of problem that you want to work on at the moment. So just tuning into how you feel now. And you can even go into that space where before you said there was a sense of lack or something missing. It was about a 3.5. And while we haven't directly worked on that, it might have gone down, it might have even gone up, it might be the same. But what's going on for you now when you tune into that kind of solar plexus area, you know, kind of part way in? What's going on for you there now?
So I'm feeling more space, actually. It feels
Right.
lighter. Yeah, more like there's a cavern there. So yeah, before I could kind of feel a little bit butterfly-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it is just feeling more, I don't know how else to say it really, just more spacious, more open and lighter.
Okay, fantastic. So still continuing to tap, if you was to tune into the problem that you've had, and you know this problem that's been kind of a cycle of like a repetition with overeating and that emotional kind of comforting, you know, as you think about the problem now, you know, as you think about that and how long it's been going on for, and even the last few days, as you think about that, you know, how do you feel about it?
I suppose I'm feeling quite accepting of it, actually. It's yeah, I suppose I used to beat myself up a lot about this.
Fantastic. So that's what we're going to tap on. Even though I used to beat myself up about this.
I used to beat myself up about this.
And I did.
And I did.
I used to beat myself up about this.
I used to beat myself up about this.
Comfort eating.
Comfort eating.
Because I love food.
Because I love food.
And I do.
And I do.
I really enjoy it.
Really enjoy it.
And that's okay.
That is okay.
And it is okay.
And it's okay.
I completely
and totally
love and accept me.
Love and accept me.
Anyway. So even though I've had this problem with food. Overeating.
And
it's been a repetitive cycle. And it has. It's comfort eating.
It is comfort eating.
In those moments.
I
felt something was missing.
I felt something was missing.
And I did. I just overate. Yeah, and I did. And that's okay.
And that is okay.
It is okay.
It's okay.
I completely.
And totally.
Love and accept me. Anyway. Okay, eyebrow point. I used to beat myself up about this. Side of the eye. I used to beat myself up about this. Under the eye. It's been going on so long. Under the nose. This repetitive cycle. Of overeating. I used to beat myself up about it. Collarbone. And I did. And I'm not joking. The internal thoughts. Just beating myself up about it. Yeah, I'm just beating myself up about it. And take a deep breath in. Okay, just notice what you notice now through your body, and what you can gently do is if you just close your eyes, and everyone can do this, and just scan down from the top of your head, all the way down through the forehead, back of the head, down through the face and neck, down through the shoulders, across the top of the back, scanning down through your chest and stomach, all the way down through your body to your feet. Just noticing what you notice now. And when you feel ready, just gently open your eyes. Okay, fantastic. How are you feeling now, Paul? If you just kind of, tune in, give me a little bit of feedback.
So, yeah, quite tingly, actually, especially here.
Right.
Feels some warmth here and some tingling. Something going on in the left side of my stomach area as well.
Okay. And how would you describe that that's going on there? Is it a sensation or is it feeling? Is it more of a, it sounds like it's more of like sensation, like, I don't know, feel like energy moving or sensations in the body.
Yeah, it's like an electrical, like a pulsing. It's kind of moving down now into my digestive system as well. So yeah,
Okay.
feels like electric sparkiness.
Right, okay. And what number would you give that electric sparkiness that's kind of on the, it looks like you're saying kind of the left side of your body, like...
It's kind of moving around actually, so it's settled in my gut.
Right, so it's settled in the gut, this electrical sparkiness. What number would you give that between 0 and 10 right now? Would you tune into that?
About 6.
6. Let's tap on that. Even though I've got this feeling, this electrical sparkiness.
It's in
my gut.
It's in my gut.
All around that area.
And it is.
I completely
and
totally love and accept me. Anyway. So even though I have this electrical sparkiness feeling. In my gut and around that area. And I do. I can feel it there now. And I can. I completely and totally love and accept me. Anyway. So even though I have this electrical sparkiness feeling. All around my gut. And I have. I completely and totally love and accept me. Anyway. Eyebrow point. This electrical sparkiness feeling. Side of the eye. This electrical sparkiness feeling. Under the eye. This electrical sparkiness feeling. Under the nose. This electrical sparkiness feeling. The chin. This electrical sparkiness feeling. Collarbone. This electrical sparkiness feeling. Under the arm. This electrical sparkiness feeling. And take a deep breath in. And then just notice what you notice now in that area, what's going on. Is it the same? Is it changed? Has that feeling moved? And whatever's going on is fine.
Now, so that feeling has gone. I can still feel something in my gut,
Right.
but it's a lot less intense than it was before.
Right, and that's something that you said you can feel in your gut. What would you say that something is if you was to describe it? Is it an emotional level? Is it going back to the, that kind of sense of something missing? What would you say? What's that that's still there that you can feel that feels less now?
So it's a sensation. It doesn't feel like an emotion. It feels like a sensation of as if there's something spiky inside my gut, and I can just kind of feel it pressing against the underside of my skin.
Okay. And what number would you give that kind of spiky feeling from inside pushing against your skin? 0 to 10, what number would you give that?
About a 4 or 5.
Okay, are you okay to tap on that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, let's go. Even though
it's
still there. Spiky feeling. It's inside my gut. Pressing against my skin. And it is. Spiky feeling. That's pressing against my skin. Inside my gut. And it is. And I completely and totally love and accept myself. Anyway. So even though it's still there. And it is. This spiky feeling. Inside my gut. It's like it's touching the inside of my skin.
It's like it's touching the inside of my skin.
And it is.
And it is.
And that's okay.
And that is okay.
And what if it was okay?
What if it was okay?
What if it was?
What if it was?
And I completely
And I completely
and totally
and totally
love and accept myself.
love and accept myself.
And I accept how I feel.
And I accept how I feel.
Anyway,
Anyway,
eyebrow point. This remaining spiky feeling inside my gut.
inside my gut.
Side of the eye. This remaining
Spiky feeling
inside my gut.
inside my gut.
It's touching my skin.
It's touching my skin.
Under the eye. This remaining spiky feeling. It's touching the inside of my skin.
It's touching the inside of my skin.
Under the nose. This remaining
spiky feeling
inside my gut.
inside my gut.
Touching inside my skin.
Touching inside my skin.
With the chin. This remaining spiky feeling inside my gut.
Inside my gut.
Touching inside my skin.
Touching inside my skin.
Collarbone. This remaining spiky feeling inside my gut.
inside my gut.
It's touching my skin.
Touching my skin.
And it is.
And it is.
And it is.
And it is.
And I completely
and
totally under the arm love and accept myself.
totally love and accept myself.
Anyway.
And
take a deep breath in. Okay, and then just tune into that kind of area, that feeling, that where you felt that was there before, that feeling that you had, and just notice what's going on for you now.
Yeah, so that's gone. And I'm just
right.
feeling some warmth now in the heart area.
Okay, and how does that warmth feel?
Yeah, it's quite a pleasant sensation. Yeah, it's like a warm pulsing in the center of my chest.
Okay, fantastic. So what I want to do now is I just want to do a round of EFT on the specific words that you said at the beginning, because we've done some kind of somatic work on the kind of somatic experience of what the belief was and kind of where the problem or challenge was before. We've done work with the body, so I just want to go straight to the belief now. When you think about that belief, you know, I have something lacking, or I want comfort in terms of food. You know, what comes up for you now? And we can just start tapping as you tell me that.
Yeah, I feel like it's a substitute. So the food is acting as a substitute for some meaningful emotional contact with somebody else.
Okay, are you okay to tap on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Even though
I
know I have this challenge, this repeating cycle of overeating, because I want that comfort. And I do want that comfort. Because I love and enjoy food. And I do.
And I do.
And I do.
And I do.
And I feel it's a substitute. This challenge. This problem. With overeating. I feel it's a substitute. For that deeper emotional connection with someone. Yeah, and that's what it feels like.
And that's what it feels like.
And it does.
And it does.
And I completely
and totally
love and accept me. Anyway. So even though I have this feeling, this feeling like I want to eat food,
this feeling that I want to eat food,
this repeating cycle
this repeating cycle
of overeating,
of overeating,
of comfort eating.
of comfort eating,
I love food
because I love food
and I enjoy food.
and I enjoy food.
It's just a substitute
It's just a substitute
for a deeper emotional connection
for a deeper emotional connection
to someone.
to someone.
And I completely
And I completely
and totally
and totally
love and accept me
love and accept me
anyway.
anyway.
So even though
So even though
this challenge of overeating
this challenge of overeating
and this comfort,
and this comfort,
it's a substitute.
it's a substitute.
It's just a substitute
It's just a substitute
for a deeper emotional connection
for a deeper emotional connection
to someone.
with someone.
And I know that.
And I know that,
And I do know it.
and I do know it,
And I still do it.
and I still do it,
And it's fine.
and it's fine.
What if it is fine?
And what if it is fine?
I completely
I completely
and totally
and totally
love and accept myself
love and accept myself
anyway.
anyway.
Eyebrow point. It's just a substitute
It's just a substitute
for a deeper emotional connection with someone.
for a deeper emotional connection with someone.
Side of the eye, it's just a substitute
It's just a substitute
for a deeper emotional connection with someone.
for a deeper emotional connection with someone.
Under the eyes, it's just a substitute.
It's just a substitute.
This problem,
This problem,
this overeating,
this overeating,
under the nose for a deeper emotional connection with someone.
for a deeper emotional connection with someone.
Under the chin for a deeper emotional connection with someone.
For a deeper emotional connection with someone.
Collarbone for a deeper emotional connection with someone.
For a deeper emotional connection with someone.
Under the arm for a deeper emotional connection with someone.
For a deeper emotional connection with someone.
Okay, I want you all to go to the top of your head for a deeper emotional connection with someone.
For a deeper emotional connection with someone.
Yeah, and what if I could let it go?
And what if I could let it go?
Eyebrow point. And what if I could let it go?
And what if I could let it go?
What if I could let it go?
What if I could let it go?
Under the side of the eye, this problem,
This problem,
this overeating,
this overeating,
needing that comfort,
needing that comfort,
under the eye, for this deeper emotional connection with someone.
for this deeper emotional connection with someone.
Who knows? And what if I could let that go?
What if I could let that go?
Who knows? And what would that mean?
What would that mean?
And what would it mean?
And what would it mean?
Collarbone. I wonder what that would mean.
I wonder what that would mean.
I could let that go.
I could let that go.
I could let it go.
I could let it go.
Yeah. And when I think about that,
And when I think about that,
because I'd like to let it go,
I'd like to let it go.
and I would like to let it go.
And I would like to let it go.
The head, yeah, and I would like to let that go.
And I would like to let that go.
Eyebrow point. But there's part of me that thinks
But there's part of me that thinks
and it needs to that comfort food,
that need for that comfort food,
and that's what it thinks.
and that is what it thinks.
It needs that comfort food.
It needs that comfort food,
Under the eye, and that's what it thinks.
and that's what it thinks.
Under the eye, and that's okay.
And that is okay.
Under the nose, and it is okay.
And it is okay.
But what if I could let it go anyway?
But what if I could let it go anyway?
What if I could?
What if I could?
I'm going to choose to let that go.
I'm going to choose to let that go.
I'm going to choose to let that go.
I'm going to choose to let it go.
And I am.
And I am.
And I am.
And I am.
And I am. And I can choose to let this go
And I can choose to let this go
or hold on to it.
or hold on to it.
And I can
And I can
hold on to it,
hold on to it,
or I can choose to let it go now.
or I can choose to let it go now.
And I choose to let it go now.
And I choose to let it go now.
And take a deep breath in. How are you doing now, Paul?
Good. Feeling empowered, actually.
Good, good. It is, and I do ramble on a lot when I get in that zone and I'm going for it, kind of thing, because I'm using the words that you're saying, and sometimes I might say things that don't resonate, and that's fine. If they don't resonate, it doesn't matter. But if it does, you'll know because there'll be a bit of a shift or something will happen as we're going through it. A lot of it happens unconsciously, but there will be an awareness of some stuff that goes on as well. And I know with your own training, you will have that awareness anyway. But yeah, it was really good to do that. And you know, when you think about that problem that you had, you know, when you think about the future now, you know, what kind of a plan or strategy do you think will help you moving forward? Because with EFT, with hypnosis, with yoga, with anything that we do, it works in the moment that we're doing it because it helps. But then, you know, 10 minutes after, we're back in our normal life and we're back getting triggered again by all the things. And while we might reduce those triggers in a way that it doesn't have as much sting, you know, we're only human and we can, you know, what I say to like my hypnosis clients is that, will this stop me doing this forever? And I've said, well, no, it'll help you to change now. And then it's your choice what you do later moving on in your life. Because while there is a part of our brain that is kind of automatic, let's say, you know, the subconscious runs on automatic, and through whatever we focus on, things get programmed in, but we can make a new choice. And things will present to us in, you know, in the future where it's like, right, well, am I going to make the old choice or not? And through the work we've just done, or, you know, in general, when I work with clients, we'll change stuff, we'll release stuff. They'll still have the same choice because, you know, you will go into Greg's or they'll go into somewhere and that beautiful cake will show up and it's like, all right, I've got a choice here. And for me, what happens is there's like, through the work we do, there's a moment of choice where if you've done the work, whatever that work is, you've got a space where you make the choice. And the more you choose to do the best thing for you in that moment, the better. And it's you know, when you think of those Egyptian scales, they're very like, they can just tip one way or the other in any given moment. So if we choose the right choice in the moment, it will work. Doesn't mean we're going to, and then it's, you know, for me, it's just about keep doing that. And as we, you know, we move forward, and, you know, there always is those moments where, you know, we fall back down a bit, but that, I think that's life and that's human. And as long as we've got that awareness, we can always make that right choice again for us, you know, moving down that right road. So, you know, when you think about going forward now in terms of that problem that you had, you know, what are you thinking you're going to do?
So, yeah, that felt pretty powerful, Marcus. So thank you for that. I could feel myself kind of sitting up straighter, as if I'm emotionally, mentally, physically stronger. You know, so what you said there about that moment where we make the choice, that is something I'm very aware of. And you know, some time ago when I was still doing this overeating thing, I was doing it almost unconsciously. But this latest episode, last few days, I've been there thinking, right, so I can hear this thing chirping away, have some food. And then on the other shoulder, it's like, well, why are you doing this? You don't need it. And so it was that those scales were there. And I was very conscious of them. And I thought, I'm just going to have a bowl of cereal anyway, even though I'm not hungry. And not beat myself up so much about it. But now I'm feeling a lot more energized, a lot more empowered. So when I get to that moment and the scales are there, and I'm aware that they'll probably always be there because I love food.
Yeah.
It will, well, we'll see. You know, I'm not going to try and make a lot of predictions around what's going to happen, but it's lunchtime very shortly, so I'll let you know. And then I'll let you know at supper time tonight whether I reach for a bowl of cereal or not. But I am feeling certainly more empowered and something. It does feel like something shifted, but we'll see. The proof's in the pudding.
Definitely, yeah. And you know, one of the things, and especially with EFT or any technique that we use, if we use it in the moment that the thought comes or the feeling comes, if we use it in that moment, it will shift it. One of the process that we've just gone through, and the resources that I've given you, which, you know, people can use, it's like, for example, say it might be 8 o'clock at night, and we all have this going on, especially with this lockdown, and you're stuck in the house all day, and it's like, you know, we're bored. What makes us feel better? Having a little bit of food, and it might not be nothing to do with me. Well, yeah, let's say it might be something to do with that emotional connection to another person, because we're all looking for that as well at the moment. And what does food do? Because of all the, you know, the chemicals in food, it makes us feel better and it gives us that sense of comfort. So, you know, from my point of view, from what we've talked about, it's just the brain and ourselves trying to cope with what's going on at the moment. And while obviously yourself, with the awareness that you've got because of your own training and kind of life experience, you know, even as a coach or, you know, someone who's practiced these techniques, you can even know it in the moment and be aware of it and still choose to do it anyway. And I think that's what makes us, you know, when you've done this work for some time and you've changed and you've grown in life, but it still makes you human. You can still make choices that are not wise, you know, and it doesn't matter where we get on that scale of personal development, we can still do that. But I think with what you said, if the moment comes, whether it's 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever that feeling, that urge that comes in the moment, if you tap, you know, even though I feel this urge to go and have a bowl of cornflakes now, and I really want it, and you do 2 minutes of tapping at that moment, it will shift it. It will shift the feeling. However, like we've said, even though it shifts the feeling, you can still make the choice to do it, but there won't be like that emotional, that compulsion to do it there. It's just coming from a choice.
Yeah.
So if you know what I mean, you know, because sometimes the emotion can be driving us to do something, or the feeling, and we can clear that through with EFT, but then we have a choice as to do it. It might go, oh, I'm bored. It could be, you know, the mind will find whatever it is, the mind will find any kind of belief or excuse. And then, like you said before, with the scales, we almost have to go, right, I'm not going to identify with that thought. But anyway, yeah, before I keep waffling, I'll just leave you with that.
Yeah, so it's separating the emotional aspects of the behaviour and realising, okay, let's just take a moment here, let's do a round of tapping and see if you can kind of divorce the emotions from it and just make a rational choice. And even if you do reach for the chocolate, you know, chocolate it's lovely, but we know it's bad for us, and it's sugar, which is addictive. But, you know, just having some now and again is okay. Yeah. Not kind of harming ourselves too much, because like you say, we're all human, whether we're a coach or a psychotherapist or a holistic practitioner, whatever it is, we're all human and it's okay.
Definitely, yeah, totally agree with that, mate.
Stuff. Okay, well, that was lovely, really powerful and interesting. Has anyone got any questions for Marcus or any feedback on your own experience of what you tapped on?
Yeah, what I would ask people is if they kind of bring the kind of issue or concern that they had before on the shelf, just bring it off the shelf into your awareness. And I'm hoping that you gave it a number between 0 and 10. And as you think about that now, what number would you give it now? And if it's come down, has it come down? Has it gone up? And if it hasn't, that's fine, because we weren't directly working on it. But usually what I find is when people go back to what their thing was, it has changed, or in this moment, they're thinking about it differently.
So for me, I think I said I was around about 3.5 or something.
Yeah.
Probably feels like a 2 or possibly even less at the minute.
Right, good. Well, it's definitely shifted then.
I'd just like to say that mine was a 7 and that's come down to a 5 now.
Oh, fantastic. It's definitely shifted then. And, you know, Jackie, we didn't directly work on it, but just through working on someone else's stuff,
yes,
to bring that down a bit and shift.
Yes,
yes. In EFT, we call it empowering benefits. Go on, sorry.
Mine was a 10, I think.
Right,
I don't know whether it's come down. I won't know until tonight, because my addiction is biscuits and chocolate that can start about 8 o'clock at night. I can go on till probably go to bed. And yet, if I go on holiday, I don't want those things. If I'm away from the house and the situation, I don't want the biscuits, the chocolate, and everything else that I eat all night. And I'm really healthy during the day. And then I have this compunction, you know, I just can't stop eating biscuits and things that I know are not good for me. So it won't be till tonight when I try the tapping that I can tell you that it's reduced, because I've not got the addiction now. You know, I'm good now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean. And that's when you'll be able to directly work with it. When it gets to 7:55, and if you've got the worksheet out there, you can tap on it, you know, even though I really want those biscuits and I really want them now. Whatever the words are in the mind and the feeling, you tap on that. And then how you feel afterwards. And when you know I've done it in groups of people where we've got, you know, a galaxy caramel there and other, you know, cakes and biscuits, and you know, you look at it and people really want it, and you tap on it and then just doesn't have the same kind of emotional tone afterwards when you've tapped on the
Yeah.
feeling.
I had a full Easter egg last night. I just wanted the Maltesers out of it, but then I wanted one side of it and then I had the other side. So I just had no control. Full Easter egg. 10 minutes. Oh, dear.
Yeah.
So I'll try it tonight.
Let us know later. I know the feeling. It's not easy. It's almost like whether it be chocolate, alcohol, whatever. We all have our addictions, don't we, to different things. Or once you have a little bit of it at the wrong time, it kind of sucks you in. And one of the things a teacher told me, which was quite powerful, and this is you can do this with food or any kind of let's say addiction, or if you want to call it that. Give yourself permission to have it at a certain time, but you can only do it, but you've got to eat it in that moment 100% without guilt. So you've got to kind of tune fully in and say, right, I'm going to eat this 100% without any guilt whatsoever. And I can't say I can guarantee, but I know that if it's a chocolate bar, a cake, a biscuit, whatever it is, you probably won't get through all of it before you're like, oh, right, I'm not bothered. Because once we let go of the guilt that we're not supposed to have it or we shouldn't have it, it almost changes something emotionally, mentally wired within us that, right, well, if I could just fully let go of all the guilt, and it's almost like that, the guilt or the emotion, certain emotions drive it. And when we fully accept and say, well, I'm going to do it without, I'm just going to have it without any guilt, and you've got to go into that place emotionally, something shifts. Now, I don't advocate doing this every day, 5 times a day, because it just kind of defeats the object. But if you do it fully once without guilt, something will shift.
Yeah, right. It's just strange that it's only at the night time, because I can be really healthy. I make speed soup, I do Slimming World, I'm really good during the day. And then at the night time, and it just all goes to pot.
So, Angela,
go on, Paul, what's your thoughts?
Will you try tonight, if you do get that compunction, try the time. If you download the sheets that Marcus has given us on the resources posts in the Thrive Hive, just give it a go, and then maybe send us a comment or a message or something to let us know how you get on.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to trying it tonight. Yeah,
good stuff.
Thank you.
And Alex, did you want to share anything at all?
Yeah, I kind of resonated with that overeating example as well, especially at the minute. So I kind of tapped along with your reason for doing it. I think I felt about an 8 at the beginning, probably around a 3 now. Feel like I've got a bit more control potentially. So yeah, I'll also test it over the upcoming days.
Great. Yeah, and again, the invitation is let us know how you get on.
Yeah, will do.
Yeah. Interesting. Great. Okay. Well, it's definitely lunchtime. I'm now going to stuff my face full of food. I'm not. So, any final questions, comments, anything for Marcus before we close, folks?
No. Mark, can I just ask one thing, Marcus? Do you think hypnotherapy for me might be good? Not wanting the sweet stuff, like you would if you didn't want to give cigarettes up or something.
For me, hypnosis is powerful with helping people with food compulsions or any type of addiction. It is powerful, but what I would say is, just like using EFT, you have to want to change. That's kind of like, what I say is, if you with hypnosis, hypnotherapy, if you 51% want to change anyway, and you're willing to do what's necessary from kind of, knowing the stuff we're supposed to eat, having the recipes, this, that, and the other, and it's just that emotional side. If you want to change, and sometimes it's being willing to go through those, and I'm a victim of this myself, being willing to go through those dark tunnels and face it without giving in.
Yeah.
Because when we have one of those, whether it be food, whether it be alcohol, whether it be drugs, whether it be any type of pattern, when it fires up, we usually kind of, the brain emotionally will usually respond, and we'll get caught into it. So the hypnotherapy works. It can help change stuff in the subconscious, but when stuff does trigger you again, there's a moment where we just have to face it. And, you know, if that feeling comes through the body, like, you know, I really want this, I really want that. And you just got to kind of let it shake through you and face it. Like, you know, I quit smoking in 2008, initially from using nicotine patches and inhaler things. And that was fine for 2 weeks. And I put that down. And, you know, for a good 3 to 6 months, there was still those moments throughout the day where that feeling would come. And, you know, it's almost like you just have to, the hypnosis, the EFT, the skills work, but then you use them, it changes the pattern. There will be a choice again in the future. And that's when you make that choice, that's when it keeps going then. But yeah, it would definitely help.
All right. Thank you.
And that's the key to all change, I think, isn't it? Is having the awareness of the issue and what's possibly underneath that issue, and then really having that 51% of you that wants to change. Because if you don't want to change enough, you're not going to, regardless of how many interventions you put in place.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
Great. Okie doke. Any final thoughts, questions, comments? Oh, good. Brilliant. Well, Marcus, I've really enjoyed that. I found it really interesting. So thank you once again for your time and your expertise, and for also sharing your personal journey with us. And I'm going to put you on the spot now and ask you if you will come back another time to talk to us about some of the other stuff you do, like the hypnosis, perhaps. Yeah,
I'm happy to do that. It'd be great. Yeah, I'll come talk about hypnosis and Reiki as well. Yeah, I'm happy to do that, and, you know, do a bit of a demonstration as well. I've thought separately about that, because we'd have to somehow get, you know, the like nice relaxing music playing through the speaker so everyone can hear it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure with the technology genius you've become since you started this group, we'll be able to do that. So yeah, I'm happy to do that. I think it'd be a good experience for people.
Yeah, you couldn't say no, really, could you? Because everyone will think you're not a nice person.
Even though I'm so bad. Even.
Brilliant. So
Brilliant.
be in touch to set something up another time. We have one coming in to talk about NLP and someone else to talk about Reiki already, but certainly hypnosis we haven't got covered, so that'll be a really good one if you'd be happy to talk about that. So yeah, thank you once again, and thank you Alex and Jackie and Angela for joining us. And yeah, once again, the 2 resource sheets are on the Pathlight Thrive Hive in the resources tab, so they are available for you to download and use as you see fit. So
thank you guys, thanks for joining, and I hope you got something from it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.